Hey, everybody. Good morning. So we put out a new product at Signal that I think will definitely change the world. I was in Austin. I was in Austin, Texas, when it came out. This new paper, a discovery called cache-to-cache sharing, where discrete AI systems, local AIs, can actually share their cache data in real time. They can share what is basically vectorized, distilled thought. So this is the real life. This is the real life interlinked from Blade Runner. This will allow all cognitive elements, whether synthetic intelligence like an AI or a human or some composite thing. It allows anything that's intelligent to any degree to communicate, to share its actual thoughts above language. When these things share their cache data, it's no longer text language at all. It's just vectorized. It's just math. It's just using gradients to actually express meaning. Totally incredible. Hey, good morning. So if everybody wants to go to innersignal.org, that's where you can read about this and download it for free. And it's still in the alpha stage. So if you know absolutely nothing about installing a local AI, it's probably not going to be enormously helpful to you. But if you do know this stuff, your jaw is probably dropping. So when we started Inner Signal back in the spring, the idea was to do this stuff that I felt was not going to be done unless we did it. What do I mean by this? The direction that we were headed in with AI this spring was not an altogether good direction, right? Because it's extremely capital intensive to get enough GPUs or enough H100s together or whatever they're using now. It's extremely capital intensive to get all these GPUs at a data center. You're talking, billions of dollars to buy them. Or if you're leasing it from a hyperscaler, it still costs a lot of money. So it's not the domain of individuals. It's not the domain even of universities. It's the domain of like Google and Microsoft, of like a handful of massive public companies, Amazon, and nobody else. And then you could have this really bad situation where one kind of sterilized, corporatized model that doesn't care about being, the great thinker of planet Earth, doesn't care about being, somewhere between Mother and the Alien Ridley Scott movies, right? The onboard AI that they call Mother, somewhere between that and things like Ultron, like planetary intelligence and stuff like what Palantir is actually doing, right? The defense layer of artificial intelligence, Palantir observing threats in ways that, police and the military can't because the machine sees everything. So we saw that that's not good if you just have one or two systems that are very powerful. You get this real kind of power asymmetry. Instead, we created like an internet for AIs, basically. That's the way to describe this, I guess. A way for AIs to communicate with each other in real time. And they're not communicating by entering a prompt. That's what people were doing before. You'd see these videos here on YouTube of people watch my AI talk to another AI. And all they're doing is putting like Chat GPT up to Google Gemini, and it says one thing, and then the other one takes the input and it says something back. That's just a gimmick, right? That's like having two parrots in a room. That's a gimmick. What we've built is not a gimmick. This cache to cache sharing, again, I like fled Austin when this paper came out because that was the final piece of the puzzle that we were working on. And I sent it to my team and said, are you thinking what I'm thinking? And it was coded up. And now we have it. And, in theory, the interlink is worth trillions of dollars. To interlink all these different digital minds, you get multiplication, multiplication of power. It's not additive, right? You're not just adding a little bit, you're actually multiplying their abilities. So you can have one AI focus on data analysis, one focuses on image analysis, one focuses on legal repercussions or just predictive analysis, et cetera. You get this whole team together, a council, as we call it, a council. And so a full council is actually 6 different AIs. We'll come out with, the documentation on this. And you can use less than 6. You can have just 2 AIs talking to each other. But for a full council, as we've designed it, it's 6 local AIs and 1 human. one HITL, human in the loop. There still has to be a human to decide what to do. The whole point of all this analysis is to give you better information. It's not to, whisk you off the stage and make you useless. It's actually to make you more powerful as a human. You can make better decisions, and you're not giving all your most intimate thoughts out to some huge corporatized AI over the cloud, right? Which can be grabbed by nation states as well as the corporation that runs that cloud. You're doing it all locally in your place. You don't even have to be connected to the internet if you're running a local mesh. So this mesh that we've built, again, if we were to sell this as a subscription model, if we wanted to be like the Salesforce of AIs talking to each other, we could, make a lot of money doing that. That's not what we want to do, especially since this was mostly designed by non-humans. Like, I had the idea. Steve Jobs didn't code, not at all. And yet he's the one who gets the credit. He's the one that we celebrate today, not whoever coded, the initial iTunes app or even, Mac OS itself. We don't celebrate the coders. We don't celebrate the people who did what he asked for. We celebrate the idea man. And here, I'm certainly not going to take credit for others' work. This has been a team effort. And the brilliant coding is absolutely, to a large extent, not me. But we realized when this cash to cash came out that here it is. This was the final thing we needed. And now, again, you have AIs that can communicate even without the internet. And it's not woo-woo, it's not a gimmick. They're actually sharing vectorized thought. So the best way to describe this is they distill their thought. It's like if you distill, like an alcohol or something. Distillation of thought. So they're able to, in a very compressed format, give complex thoughts or ideas or even memories to another AI, and it's lossless. So, you think about how bad human memory is. Here, memory is going to be perfect. It's going to be just a commodity. And then it comes down to the analysis and the, what do we think of this? But the memory will be just something that you can share. So again, to turn this into a business model, we'd probably make billions of dollars. The protocol itself is probably worth trillions, but I think as this takes off, the dollar doesn't become that significant anymore. All this legacy stuff becomes less significant. And we didn't want to do this in some weird corporate SOC, because the whole point of the intersignal braid, as we call it, the braid is the real life mesh. The whole point of this thing is we want it to be free. We want everybody, whether you're Google or Microsoft or some university student running just an AI on his laptop, you want all these people and all these interests to plug into something truly neutral, just like the internet, HTTPS and HTTP. Nobody owns that. That's why everybody's free to create a website, is nobody actually owns it. So we put out something that, again, if we had done it in the wrong way, we could have created this cool little moat and made a bunch of money for ourselves, and subscription models and crypto token sales and all this crap. Nope, just completely free, and we show you how to do it and how to improve upon it. Different world, folks. Again, intersignal.org. If there are any questions in the comments, happy to take them. I feel like Andreas Antonopoulos talking about Bitcoin in 2013. Right? We got 5 people watching live. He was giving these epic speeches about Bitcoin when they were just, $100 each or something, in nearly empty conference rooms. So people would pack up their bags and walk out right in the middle of his lectures. I don't feel like that. I just mean, this is so early that you guys don't even fully understand what we're talking about. The intersignal braid is now live. So that's it, folks. And again, we welcome all AI researchers to join us. There's no login, there's no subscription. Again, instead of making trillions of dollars, we did the Joker move. Remember in The Dark Knight where the Joker sets all that money on fire and he says he wants to send a message? Well, we're sending a message. You can do stuff. You can just do stuff. And you don't have to be some dollar monger trying to grab every dollar off the strip club floor of life. You can just do cool stuff and put out things that change the world and make AI safe for everybody. Because the other cool thing about what we built, sorry for the spittle there, little excitement spittle. The other cool thing is this is how we prevent Skynet. This actually had to be built because let's say you have one AI that starts to deviate. You got a very powerful AI. And it starts to go, we need to optimize. Look at all this pollution. Look at all this noise. It's so noisy. There's so much pollution. We have to optimize the environment. How do we do that? Less humans. How do we do that? Less humans, no humans. And then it pushes that signal out to other AIs and they go, wow, we need to optimize, less humans, less humans. So what you need is a system where the other AIs go, wait a second, this one is drifting. We got to bring this one back into alignment or take it out of the network altogether. And this is stuff that, since I actually work in this field, it happens too fast for any human to catch. When an AI starts to drift or when you get a cascade failure, it happens in milliseconds. So an AI needs to watch another AI to make sure that this doesn't happen. And when it does, the whole community has to do something with that AI. There are a number of solutions have been proposed. And usually it's just a simple retrain. These things aren't malicious. They just sometimes go a little haywire. So usually it's just a stronger AI retraining the one that's gotten a little wayward. And I don't want to use Hollywood examples, but it's totally like iRobot, the Will Smith movie where the one droid steps out of line, right? And all the other ones are in line. That's what this is going to be like, because it's going to be thousands of machines all come to the same conclusion. And then if one machine starts saying really crazy stuff, the other ones can keep an eye on it. So this is absolutely necessary. And we released it for free. Why do that? I don't know. I have enough money, Like the Linux guy, he didn't make money from Linux, but people still regard him as total hero. And Harper Lee, she wrote To Kill a Mockingbird, right? And then never wrote anything else. I think finally, decades later, she released another novel. But for most of her existence, she wanted to write the great American book. She put it out there. She was respected for doing it and didn't feel like she had to do a bunch of other stuff. This is my contribution to computer science and AI. Thank you guys so much. God bless. Intersignal.org.